At least we know that Mamelodi Sundowns is taking this thing seriously. What a very weird game. What a very weird game. Played by Mamelodi Sundowns versus AS FAR. AS FAR, of course, from Morocco. It's weird because AS FAR had already qualified for the knockout rounds, regardless of what was going to happen between them and Sundowns, regardless of what was going to happen between Maniema Union and Raja Casablanca. They were going to make it through. Anyway, they were done. Mamelodi Sundowns came into this game needing at the very least a draw in order for them to make it through. That would make it mathematically impossible for them to be caught. If they were to lose this game, head-to-head would be a little bit tough between them and Raja, as Raja was able to beat them, for example, in the game that they played. So it was going to come down to calculators. But luckily it didn't come down to calculators. Yeah, very, very interesting end to that game. But anyway, let's get into the tactics of it before we speak about anything else. Okay, so like I said, Mamelodi Sundowns came into this game needing a draw, and they played versus AS FAR. There were a couple of things that had changed in this. Pitso Mosimane was given a chance to go into Mamelodi Sundowns and be the top striker, be the person who is inside, as a reward for the 2 goals that he scored versus Maniema Union late in that game, in order to make sure that this game was a little bit more comfortable for Mamelodi Sundowns. Straight off the bat, I can tell you a couple of things about Mamelodi Sundowns. Reyners and Shalulile don't go together. Reyners and Shalulile cannot play together. I may even extend it and say Reyners, Shalulile, and Ribeiro are not a good combination of players. Shalulile and Reyners, they essentially run into the same spaces onto the pitch. They're both looking for the same spaces, and I don't think they have the communication down as to when and where, who's meant to cover, who's meant to push, who's meant to do this, who's meant to do that. I don't think they have that relationship down as yet, and you see it play out in Reyners being lost a lot of the time in the game, Reyners having to drop back and collect the ball, and Shalulile almost He plays with the seniority that he's one of the senior players at Mamelodi Sundowns, and therefore he can run into spaces, which is something I don't want to downplay, because Shalulile is one of the most important players to South African football, but also to Mamelodi Sundowns, because he comes with an attitude that maybe Sundowns has been missing. Sundowns over the past few games has looked a little bit nervous. You know, the body language hasn't been the most positive. So him coming in last game and doing what he did, and then starting this game, really does help to balance out, but it does take the players out of sync. If you look at Ribeiro has to play off of the right-hand side, something that he did, yes, last year with Shalulile. And maybe you could argue that because Uzwane is not on the other side, it means that Ribeiro can come into that 10 position and really hold it. But you could see Naye that he was a little bit uncomfortable in the game. And there's a thing that they're doing now where they have to drop back a lot deeper in order for them to get the ball. And Ribeiro, as I always say, the deeper Ribeiro has to go, the more he loses the ball on that side. Ulunga, in as much as he's a player that you'd love to have on the pitch, the reason why I believe Ulunga gets chosen over and over and over again is because sometimes you need players that you can trust to do the job that you've given them. So if he has to play left wing back on that side and has to be more defensively sound or more positionally disciplined, because you've got Moreno on the other side, you've got Reyners running, you've got Ribeiro doing this, he's chosen for that. But there is a gap when he's chasing the ball back, where he kind of goes forward, there's a gap, the ball is played there, and he's often playing catch up, trying to cover the space that he's meant to be covering. So that gives the opposition a moment or two where they can get something. If you think about the cross that was played in very early on with the Morena mistake in the box, where AS FAR couldn't take advantage of that, I think you could see some of that. Sorry to interrupt the video that I'm sure you're enjoying, but I just wanted to say thank you for all of the support that you guys have shown me and my Overthinking Football platform. I'm a one-man band that's doing all of this, and I really do enjoy the comments about how, you know, Supersport needs to come fetch me and SABC and all of that stuff. And I think it speaks to the quality of the content, but also the amount of effort that I put in. So I just wanted to say thank you. But the truth is that Abu Supersport and all of those guys, yes, we're competing with them, but it's a completely different place. The sponsors are looking for former players, and to be honest with you, running some of these things is getting so difficult, and things have changed at home. So financially, it's a whole different world. So I wanted to try something new and come to the overthinkers, the people who watch the content, and say it would be incredible if you guys could contribute monthly towards the platform, towards keeping my lights on, but also making sure that all of the crazy things that I want to do, that I want to take Supersport on with, I can actually do. And just for 20 Rand every month, I think that would be an incredible contribution if you can make it. It may sound like a little, but if we can get a lot of people behind it, then we'll be able to carry on doing what I do. I'll be able to carry on giving you the content and also expanding it, because we don't have shows like this, and us content creators need help from our audiences. So I just came here to ask you if you can. Here is the account number that you guys can use in order to contribute. And I think, yeah, I'd be very grateful if you would. But anyway, let's get back to the video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you look at Morena on the other side, Morena and Motaung complement each other. They're two sides of a coin, because Motaung, for as defensively sound as he is, Usaila, up front he doesn't give you much. Like up front he doesn't give you the final ball. He doesn't give you that cross that is dangerous, or that pass that is dangerous. He often messes up a little bit and just ends up playing it into midfield, ending attacks. So defensively he's very sound, Usaila, but then attacking wise he doesn't give you a lot. Umurena is the opposite. Attacking wise he gives you a lot, but defensively you have questions of him, right? And maybe we need to start realizing that Umurena is no longer a defender per se. He's more of your left wing back, left wing, more attacking. That is where you need to play him to be effective. What helped him, I think, in this game was khoza. Oh, guys, I don't know where they found that boy. I'm going to rave about him every week that I see him, because he is incredible. Doesn't get rushed, makes the right decision. If you try to be physical with him, he's fine. He doesn't stress. When you try and play balls in behind him, it's like he's already read the pass and he gets there before defenders. Rarely does he leave his feet to go and tackle. That player is incredible. Hugo Bruce, going into 2025, the AFCON 2025 in December, Hugo Bruce has his spoils for choice. Sesane, Khoza, Abu Dotli, the guys who were playing there. Hey, Khoza is incredible. I don't know where they found him. In the middle, Umkhulisa no Alenda still don't have an understanding of each other. So Umkhulisa naye, he tends to go missing a lot in the games, and him going missing drags everybody back. Ribeiro has to come back, Allen has to come back, Tebza has to do a lot more covering of him there in the middle. And Tebza, I think he's finally maybe understanding what the coach wants him to be as a 6, and he's destroying and playing those simple balls much more than normal. So this was an ebb and flow game that was going back and forth. I think AS FAR didn't push as much as you'd expect them to, but I mean, it's CAF, you're playing away, you're playing against the Sundowns, you've already qualified. I mean, there's no need for you to push so hard in the game. And they went 1-0 down. Wonderful goal from Ushalile from a set piece. Pretty much gave them one of their best chances of the game. That was one of the best chances of the game. They flashed some wide by Umayema, but in terms of the play, Sundowns wasn't really all the way there. Then the game became interesting. And it became interesting because maybe you started to see two teams who realized that, man, why do we have to fight each other so hard? You've qualified, I've qualified. I need a point, you need to finish top. You know, And that second half became very interesting. The goal that was scored by EASFAR was pretty straightforward goal, cross-played in, goal, and then they moved on. But you started seeing some things that could be coincidental. But also, when you start looking at the grand scheme of things, you start realizing, like I said, that it's two teams that maybe realize that why do we have to go so hard when we can both qualify? Sundowns was having attacks where they would literally turn around and start playing the ball back. The last 10, 15 minutes was frankly a joke. Sundowns had the ball at the back. They didn't want to play it up. ASFAR wasn't looking to go press the ball. I think we watched 15 minutes of two teams that were just trying to see out the game. They were just counting down the minutes because they didn't want to go too hard and do something different. There are beneficial scenarios for both teams for this game ending the way that it did. Sundowns, I guess, has a chance to meet the Pirates, but it really gives them a chance not to have to play Ahly. Maybe you get Abu Al Hilal and those type of teams, and you get an easier path. ASFAR gets to go top of their group. Maybe they get to play against more familiar opposition instead of having to also, for the first time, having to go and play Pirates, for example, down south and then go back. They can pretty much play within their own climate, within their own understanding of football. So you have that part. So you could understand. On the one side, I am disappointed to say that no, at the end of the game, Sundowns didn't give the game that everybody came to see, or the type of exciting football or the type of exciting African football that you think would excite fans and entice them to come in and come watch games. But on the other hand, Mamelodi Sundowns did what needed to be done. Somebody in my comments during my live said, why work hard when you can work smart? Get your 1 point, go through to the knockouts, maybe orchestrate an easier path. I saw Mamelodi Sundowns fans had brought out the lasers. I'm proud. And it's because it shows that you are serious. There's a question you ask about how serious, how willing are you to go win these tournaments? And I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying it's something that should be done. But I think Sundowns is starting to realize that you need to go out and do what needs to be done. The question I have is, did it come from the players? Did it come from the coach? Did it come from management? Was it something that was discussed before, or something that was a revelation that happened midway through the game? Because that's going to have some implications going forward. Sundowns can't play so open in the knockouts, because you're going to find some teams that are going to take advantage of you. Unlike what ASFAR was willing to do. I think ASFAR respected Mamelodi Sundowns quite a bit. They did pace up in the second half, the beginning of the second half, where they were actually running at Mamelodi Sundowns quite hard, and they were trying to get something from the game. But I think this game played out exactly how an African game plays out, where you've got two teams that are staring qualification in the face. So I'll end off by saying well done to Mamelodi Sundowns for qualifying. It was touch and go. There was the manqobas, there was a new coach, there was a lot that the Sundowns team had to weather in order to get here. But you have to give it to them. And alleged conspiracies and alleged what aside, they did what needed to be done, and they've qualified. ASFAR, Coach Nabi's former team, for those who don't know, Nasruddin Nabi used to coach that team, also qualify, top of the group. So I think this final day in this group played out exactly how you'd expect it to play out. And we need to be proud that there's two South African teams that are in the quarterfinals. There's two South African teams that are going to be representing us. And when there's two teams there's a bigger chance that one's going to come out with the star. Let's be honest, guys. Pirates won in 95. 30 years on, we've only added one more star in 2016. In that time, Abu Al Ahly have won multiple. Al Ahly has 12. I think they've got 3 or 4 out of the last 5. Abu Wydad have got 4. Abu Zamalek have got 5. TP Mazembe 5. A lot of the teams that are from the west and the north of Africa have been doing this a lot. And what made me happy about this game is that we're finally starting to implement the things that we've seen from that side. And we've got two teams that are just dominating in different ways. Pirates, masterful. One of two unbeaten teams, them and AS FAR in the group stages. They just have to go out and give us similar performances in the knockouts for us to go far as a country. Mamelodi Sundowns, our most experienced of recent memory, our most experienced team, they made it into the knockouts. We know that they've been trying to find the formula to get past the semi-finals, so you can trust them to give us some performances. All in all, I think it's a great day for South African football. Well done to Mamelodi Sundowns. I'll see you guys on the next one.